Sweden's proposal to use the Rolls-Royce EJ230 engine, which is based on the EJ200 engine used in the Eurofighter Typhoon, in the Saab JAS-39 Gripen EF, is a bold and strategic move. The main goal is simple. Sweden wants to make the Gripen more attractive to buyers around the world and reduce its dependence on US-made engines from General Electric. As of April 2025, this effort is driven by real political problems. US export restrictions have already blocked Gripen sales, including a deal with Colombia. Because of this, Sweden is looking towards new markets, such as Canada, Peru, and possibly Ukraine. Right now, the Gripen CD uses the Volvo RM12, and the Gripen EF uses the GE F414G engine. Both engines are based on US technology. Because of this, about 30% of the aircraft's components come from the United States. That dependence is risky. It makes the Gripen vulnerable to political vetoes from Washington. By offering a fully European engine, Sweden hopes to gain more control over its defense industry, attract countries that want to avoid US influence, and strengthen its position inside NATO and the global arms market. This idea is not entirely new. It was first explored in the late 1990s, but today it feels far more urgent. Global politics are shifting. Sweden has recently joined NATO, and there is growing demand for affordable fighter jets that are not tightly tied to the United States. In this changing world, the Gripen, with a European engine, could become a much stronger competitor. The strategic context is clear. Sweden is playing a careful, long game. It wants to use its history of neutrality and its strong engineering reputation to win high-value export deals. One major target is Peru, which is considering a $2 billion deal for 12 Gripen EF fighter jets. Another is Canada, where the government is now reevaluating its long-term commitment to the F-35 program. At the same time, Sweden wants to deepen ties with European partners, especially the United Kingdom and Italy, both of which are key players in the EJ200 engine program. At the center of the proposal is the integration of the EJ230 engine. This engine can produce about 90 kilonewtons of thrust with afterburner, which is close to the 98 kilonewtons delivered by the current F414G engine. Saab would need to make major changes to the Gripen EF. This includes updates to the airframe, the avionics, and the software systems. The work would likely be done in cooperation with Rolls-Royce and Volvo Aero. It would be complex. It would take time, but it would give Sweden much more flexibility. The EJ230 also offers technical advantages. Its higher pressure ratio fan and the possibility of thrust vectoring could improve maneuverability. That would help the Gripen compete against rivals such as the F-16V and the Rafale. Several key markets are watching closely. In Canada, Saab has proposed local production in Montreal, creating jobs and reducing dependence on US supply chains. In Peru, the focus is modernizing the Air Force through a $2 billion procurement. In Colombia, a deal worth roughly $3.6 billion for 16 Gripen fighters remains at risk because US export rules still apply to the current engine. And in Ukraine, discussions that began in 2023 have explored the possibility of Gripen deliveries to help counter Russian aggression. The EJ230 engine would be built by Eurojet Turbo, a consortium that includes Rolls-Royce, MTU Aero Engines, ITP, and Fiat. There is also the possibility that Volvo Aero could join, an idea first proposed back in 1998. On social media, especially on X, there are claims that Saab has been working quietly with Rolls-Royce. However, as of April 2025, there are no official confirmations from Saab or from the Swedish government. Despite its promise, the proposal faces serious challenges. From a technical standpoint, the Gripen would need redesigned air intakes, new engine mounts, and major avionics integration. This would be expensive and time-consuming. There is also a safety issue. The EJ200 family was originally designed for twin-engine aircraft, like the Eurofighter. Using it in a single-engine fighter would require extensive certification and very strict reliability testing. In short, the idea is powerful, but the path forward is difficult. A 2019 statement from Volvo Aero made one thing very clear. Integrating the EJ200 or EJ230 engine would require major reconstruction of the aircraft. The engine was not designed for single-engine fighters. This highlights a serious engineering challenge. Performance trade-offs are another concern. While the EJ230 offers similar thrust, it may not provide a big performance improvement over the proven F414G engine. More importantly, its use in a single-engine aircraft has never been fully tested. Cost is also a major risk. The Gripen's strength has always been affordability, but with prices estimated between $85 million and $228 million per aircraft, that advantage could disappear. If large export orders do not materialize, development costs could become difficult to justify.
Politics further complicate the picture. The United States remains a key NATO ally and also supplies critical components for the Gripen. Replacing US-made engines could strain relations. There is also the risk of retaliation. This could include tighter export controls or reduced cooperation on other defense programs. Existing Gripen operators add another layer of difficulty. Countries like Brazil, which already use the F414G engine, may resist switching to a new power plant. For new buyers, such as Peru or Colombia, a different engine option could complicate training, maintenance, and long-term logistics. Public support for the EJ230 idea is visible online. On platforms like X, many defense enthusiasts praise the proposal. They see it as a way to free Sweden from US engine dependence. Canada is often mentioned. Supporters point to local production, greater strategic autonomy, and reduced political risk. Some even credit US export restrictions for pushing Sweden toward Rolls-Royce in the first place. Saab CEO Mikael Johansson has expressed optimism about Gripen exports. While indirect, his comments suggest openness to engine diversification as a way to secure deals. The Swedish government's push for parliamentary approval of the Peru sale also signals flexibility. Still, feasibility remains uncertain. From a technical standpoint, the EJ230 is not impossible. Back in 1998, a proposal outlined a 700-hour flight test program to validate the engine. The idea stalled then, largely because of high costs. Those same costs could block progress again. In the end, the entire proposal depends on one thing: major export contracts. Without them, the risk may outweigh the reward.
A major shift by Canada, away from the F-35, or Peru's $2 billion deal, could justify the heavy investment needed. Smaller markets, such as Colombia, may not. Politically, Sweden has to walk a narrow path. It must manage US sensitivities while also navigating the internal dynamics of Eurojet. Sweden's NATO membership could help here by creating space for cooperation rather than confrontation. As of April 2025, there is still no solid evidence that EJ230 integration is actively underway. Claims from analysts, online posts, and cited YouTube videos lack authoritative confirmation. A 2019 Volvo Aero statement, which denied plans to integrate the EJ200, remains a strong reminder to be cautious. Still, the potential impact of success would be significant. For Sweden, a working EJ230 Gripen could strengthen Saab's export position, help justify its $4.2 billion investment in 60 Gripen E aircraft, and reinforce the national defense industry. Reducing reliance on the United States fits well with Sweden's neutral heritage, while also supporting its role inside NATO. That balance makes Sweden attractive to countries seeking alternatives to US-aligned systems. Within NATO, a European engine could deepen ties with Eurojet partners and support future joint programs, including next-generation fighter projects. But failure carries real risks. If major contracts do not materialize, or if relations with Washington are mishandled, Saab's finances could suffer, and pressure could grow on Sweden's defense budget.
For partner countries, the stakes are also high. Canada could strengthen its Arctic defense posture and aerospace industry through local production, but it may face political pushback from the United States. Peru and Colombia would gain strategic flexibility and could even form a Latin American Gripen ecosystem alongside Brazil. However, any delays in engine integration would slow deliveries and raise costs. For Eurojet, success could revive demand for the EJ200 family, giving new life to an aging program. For Ukraine, a non-US controlled supply chain would be strategically valuable, though funding remains a major obstacle. On the global stage, an EJ230-powered Gripen could challenge US dominance in the lightweight fighter market. That would increase pressure on General Electric and Lockheed Martin, but it could also trigger stricter U.S. export controls, intensifying competition worldwide. In short, the opportunity is real, the rewards are high, and the risks are unavoidable. This is not just an engine decision, it is a strategic bet on the future of Sweden's role in the global defense